Welcome to Judgment Day. We've got a whole whack of games to talk about today, so let's get started.
Whack?
You don't like whack?
No.
Today on Judgment Day, we take a look at Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube, Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Rings for the Xbox, Robot Alchemic Drive for the PlayStation 2, and Tommy and I take a look at some 3D glasses for the PC. All right, first game we're talking about is Star Fox Adventures from Nintendo for the GameCube. It's developed by Rare, and believe it or not, this might be the last Rare-developed game for Nintendo. What did you think of Star Fox Adventures?
I gotta say, I never really liked the other versions, the SNES version and the N64 versions of Star Fox. I never liked them.
What is this, True Confessions? Those were awesome games.
I never liked them. This game is completely awesome and completely great and has really nothing to do with those other games. What makes it so great...
It's not like the other Star Fox games.
Is one, it's not like the other Star Fox games.
Right.
But two, the amazing story really draws you in to the game.
Right.
Really, the presentation is extremely well done.
Really?
Absolutely. It
used to be called Dinosaur Planet. It was supposed to be an N64 game. You can tell that some of the textures and some of the character designs and stuff like that were sort of N64 ready, but then they added a whole level of detail, lots and lots of nice reflection mapping, beautiful lighting effects, awesome effects on the fur on some of the creatures.
The graphics are incredibly well done. Even though they're cartoony style, they're still amazing.
Yep.
The music in this game is absolutely phenomenal. The sound effects are
really
absolutely
nice,
phenomenal.
The water effects are staggering. They're so beautiful. There's actual sort of distortion of the little fishies that are swimming around underneath the waves, and the water just, you know, cascades around Star Fox as he's swimming through the thing. Here's what I really had some problems with. The game feels like it was so far along sort of being its own thing, and then they decided, well, listen, we got to get Star Fox back in this game, stick Star Fox in there, and it feels like they sort of crammed the Star Fox experience into this game, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And I will say that the ship flying stuff that's in the game, I had a great time playing those levels, but they're not as fleshed out and as fun as Star Fox 64 was.
I wish they would have included a jump button, although it is very intuitive as far as when you walk up to a ladder, you know, it knows, you know, it'll automatically climb up things.
And that's the thing, Rare's been making these kinds of games for so long. They've done a really great job at making this intuitive, easy to get into, and immediately fun.
I don't know what it is, but the way they
action-oriented.
Introduce it to you is very well done. The only knock I have against this game is Slippy the Toad. They really got to squash him, get rid of him, needs to die. Please off him in the next level.
Off him? Oh my God,
game.
What are you, a gangster now? I had a lot of fun playing Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube, but it is not my favorite Rare game of all time. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Well, GoldenEye was my favorite Rare game, and this is my second favorite Rare game. I'm giving it a 9, even higher than you. On the positive side, the storytelling in this game is absolutely phenomenal. Character design, enemy designs, and graphics overall are extremely well done. And it really gives you a good learning curve throughout the entirety of this game.
On the negative side, we were a bit surprised that the classic Star Fox experience wasn't a little better integrated. There's no jump button, which is a little bit weird in this game. And man, Tommy and I really just can't stand Slippy the Toad. Okay, we're going to talk about our next game now. It's a little bit strange. It's called Robot Alchemic Drive for the PlayStation 2 from Enix. What'd you think of this one?
Although this game is kind of unique to play, the presentation, setup, dialogue, voiceover acting, music is so horrible that it really brings the whole experience down.
They were having fun with that. They were just joking around.
They were not having fun. They were being serious.
No, come on. I know the developers knew what they were doing when they put this together. They were having fun. They're tweaking with the anime-influenced artwork and stuff that's out there.
Didn't get that.
You didn't like the BNN newscasts and the hysterical correspondent?
They were trying to be serious.
No,
yes, they were.
I can't believe that.
The worst.
You know what?
It's so bad that he thinks they're joking around. That's how bad it is.
In my heart, I really hope.
No.
I hold out hope that they're not being serious.
We will bring you more information as soon as we receive any updates. Oh. We've made connection.
The graphics in this game overall aren't really that great.
It's not the best PlayStation 2 graphics.
Right. The controls
The robots look cool, though.
The controls in the game are absolutely, you know, weirded out. Like, you know, it's, you know, that whole world spins around the player type controls. Well, this one times 10.
Well, we got to get to the quick here. The gimmick of this game.
Well, the cool part of this game is that not only can you walk around as the human character, or hero as they refer to him in the game, but you can also at any time push the select button and now switch to the mech, although there's a little caveat to that.
Yes. Ooh, I've never heard you use the word caveat.
Your eyes is always from the boy.
That's the thing. It's like you're playing giant rock'em sock'em robots, and you get this little remote control dude, and he walks around, and you get the clobber on the other giant robots. Now, the really cool thing here is that the two thumbsticks, the right and the left thumbstick, actually operate the robot's arms. So if you swing them around, they'll throw punches, and if you press down on them, their giant hands will give way to these new weaponry. So you have like flamethrowers and drills.
The way you control the mech is awesome. I really love that. What I hate is the camera control that you have to be forced to deal with.
You hate that?
In order to operate it.
Hate it.
Yes.
Oh, a new humanoid weapon has appeared. It is the same robot that has already saved Japan.
The thing that this game does better than any other mech game ever is it really does give you a sense
of the height of this thing.
Huge mech and destruction all around you.
I love
that. Absolutely phenomenal. It gets mega points for that.
It's a completely different mech style game, and that's why I enjoy playing this thing. And I know that it's complicated, I know that it's tricky, but once you learn it, you're going to find tons of enjoyment in this game, and I had a blast.
All of that could have went completely away if they just would have given me an option where, you know, you can have like a camera pull back.
I like this thing a lot. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 7, so I don't know why we're arguing with me so much.
On the positive side, this is a very fresh take on the whole giant mech fighting genre. This is really the first mech game that gives you a sense of how powerful and enormous and devastating these robots can be. And although Tommy and I disagree on some of the camera issues, we both agree that the controls of the mech are fantastic.
On the negative side, the presentation and VO recording on this game is just laughable. The third-person spinning world controls kind of make us a little seasick. And although it's cool and unique to be outside of the mech and control it, it's hard to actually win battles doing it that way.
All right, we're moving on from sci-fi now. We're going to talk about racing next with NASCAR Thunder 2003. Stick around.
Do you want to make more money? Of course, we all do. Here's a fact. At Education Direct, over 12 million men and women have trained at home in their spare time for job promotions and new careers without ever setting foot inside a classroom. And now you can too. Call this toll-free number and find out how easy it can be to get your career diploma or even your specialized associate degree. There's no obligation. Just choose from any one of these courses. High school, home inspector, auto mechanic, electrician, PC repair, motorcycle repair, private investigator, fitness and nutrition, HVAC technician, locksmith, appliance repair, small engine repair, TV VCR repair, drafting, veterinary assistant, home remodeling and repair, gunsmith, furniture and cabinet maker, bookkeeping, photographer, or get your specialized associate degree. You can major in business management, accounting, or applied computer science. Compare your present salary with the money you could be making in any one of these careers. They'll be repeated for you at the end of this commercial. It's easy. Just get a pencil and write down the course you're most interested in. Then call the toll-free number and we'll send you one of these exciting career packs absolutely free. Your career pack explains how easy it is to study at home and tells you about the many opportunities available to people who train through Education Direct to get better jobs. And that's not all. You'll also see the exciting learning materials included in your course at no extra cost. They make it easy and fun to train for that better career. So secure the future you want with career training from Education Direct. Here are those courses again. Call now for free information. There's absolutely no obligation.
Call 1-800-668-8319. Then decide if you want to train at home for a better career to make more money. Call 1-800-668-8319 for free information. There is absolutely no obligation. That's 1-800-668-8319. Call now.
If you want to beat the 92 Cowboys, choose a physical team like the 69 Packers from the setup menu.
Use the screen to set up the run, then hit them with lots of draws and misdirections off tackle.
Don't be afraid to try a trick play like the halfback option.
Because if the safety bites on the fake and comes to the line, you've got the tight end open in the post pattern. And if he stays back,
you've got your linebacker all
alone in an open field, and you can juke him
using the skip, the spinner, circle, then square, 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 squared, and dive.
Wow.
Your favorite video game of all time?
Bushido Blade. Whooshing!
And you got a favorite video game character of all time?
Super Metroid, man. When she dies, you can see her butt naked.
Yo, I get them G4 and open the door to all type of games. I get the console, the cartridge, and it's all the same. I give you open up the secrets. You better listen, because everything on G4 is going to glisten, 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 glisten.
The Troll and I have been playing Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings for the Game Boy Advance from Universal Interactive. Now, this game actually plays a little bit differently than the Xbox version of Fellowship of the Rings. In that game, it was sort of more of an action RPG. This game is more like a turn-based role-playing game, sort of like the old Final Fantasy games for the Super Nintendo. I think the graphics are pretty good. They're nicely detailed. There's lots of little fine little pieces of art along the walls, and all the shelves have lots of books on them. Only problem is all the screens are very dark, so it's very difficult to see where all the detail is. This is probably the slowest paced video game I've ever played, and I'll tell you something, when you're playing a portable video game and there's batteries involved, you don't have time for your little dude to take 19 hours to walk over, you know, like 2 screens. This is ridiculous. The battles are the worst thing about this game. The battles are so bloody slow. I mean, you wait forever. It's way too slow. I don't know what they were thinking. The other thing I had a problem with, too, is that the characters sort of move around in this sort of weird, you can never get them in a straight line. So they're always walking around like this, and, you know, it feels so clumsy. It's nice and all that you get to play everybody. There's some nice music in here, very soothing, which goes along with the slow pace of the game. But basically, this is like the perfect game to put you to sleep. I have to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Love the story, but it's snooze time, folks. We're back. We're going to talk about NASCAR Thunder 2003 from EA Sports for the Xbox. What did you think of this game?
For all you NASCAR freaks out there, you're really going to love this one because, I mean, they have every single license for every single car.
I think we have to do a first here on Judgment Day. I think we have to applaud Electronic Arts' legal department for clearing all of the licenses in this game. And there is every single decal and every single logo.
Now, I know there's Sony has a NASCAR.
Except for Sony on the Xbox game.
Yeah. Did they show that car on the Xbox version?
No,
I didn't see it.
I think there's been some careful editing.
Starting the race from row 3 are the Square D Chevrolet and the UAW.
There are tons and tons and tons of tracks in this.
Yes.
One of the fun things I liked was you could actually go in. They've done interviews with all of the race car drivers.
Yes.
And in certain situations that happened in NASCAR,
right.
And they let you replay those instances after they've set it up for you.
Okay, guys, you knew this one was coming. In October of 2001, I won the first EA Sports 500 at Talladega.
There is quite a bit of sort of tweakable mechanical stuff to do in the game if you're so inclined.
You can create your own car, too,
yeah, and
which
your
is
own
great.
paint job, and you can go out and get sponsors, which is fun. But the nice thing is that EA sort of loosened up a little bit on the physics, and they let players bump and rub against the other cars, and they hit the wall, and they're not automatically out of the race. This is a sport that really is skin of your teeth, you know, edge-to-edge racing all the time, and you do a lot of bumping in the actual sport. So obviously in the video game version of it, you want to accentuate that a little bit.
My favorite part of the game is, of course, as soon as I start racing, to turn my car around and start going against the traffic. And you can just see the pack starting to head right into you. Boom! Crash, cars on fire, smack, they're doing flips over your head. This is a beautiful thing.
You're starting to become predictable, man. I was surprised to see, though, visually, that it just isn't as good as some of the stuff we've already seen. There's nice reflection mapping, and all the decals are there, and all the logos.
Lots of jagged edges, though, and aliasing.
I was surprised to see that there wasn't any online play. And NASCAR racing really would be awesome online. It's the perfect community-building racing game.
Remember that game Pit Stop for ColecoVision?
Love that game.
The pit crew was part of the game.
Yep.
Why did they do that in this?
I know.
Pits are a huge important element of the NASCAR experience.
Yes, they are.
I would have loved to have been able to control the different pit members.
What's even more heinous than that is when you play in multiplayer, you don't even see the animated pit crews.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, for the Xbox, they definitely could have handled a little bit more animation in there. So what are you going to give NASCAR Thunder?
I'm giving it an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. This is a very fun racing game. On the positive side, this game's got pretty much all the drivers and all the tracks you're going to find in real-life NASCAR. You can build your own car and chase your own sponsors and create your own paint job. And the control is very forgiving and very fun.
On the negative side, we felt that the graphics could have had a little less aliasing and more photorealism. We wish you could actually control your pit crew because it plays such an important role in the NASCAR experience. And with all the online console gaming that's going on right now, this was the perfect game to do it, but they didn't.
A lot of gamers out there have been waiting for something like this for a long time. These are 3D glasses. It's called the X3D PC viewer. And what this thing does is allow you to view your video games in true, better than those cheesy movies, 3D.
These things are actually really thin. They don't weigh a lot. They're comfortable on your head. And this device has got to be some of the best 3D I've ever seen.
It is very good.
In my life. I nearly fell down flat when I first had a view at some of my favorite games that I've played on the PC.
In 3D, it's very good.
This is incredible. I mean,
but there are some things that you have to know about this device before you rush out and buy this thing. It costs about $100, and you get the glasses, you get a little adapter thing, and you hook it up to the monitor output on your PC. And this thing seems to be exclusive for NVIDIA, so keep that in mind when you're looking for this device. Be prepared to do quite a bit of tweaking.
I don't think that's any fault of the glasses, though. That's the fault of the PC, because there's so many video cards.
It can be conflictions in a million ways. And the other thing is, there's actually a little medical test built into the software. And if you can't see all of the little things that they want you to see in 3D, it's telling you that you should maybe go get your eyes checked out.
And they told him to go
get
do
my
that.
eyes checked out.
The other cool thing is that you can go to their website, and on there, they actually give you a bunch of 3D images that you can view and you can download on the website. I'm going to recommend it for you guys out there who love to have all the little cool gadgets and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to use your maybe.
On the positive side, when you actually get this thing working, it turns your monitor into a real world. They have a full support of an online website, and the glasses design themselves is very sleek and lightweight.
On the negative side, this is a bit of an expensive investment at around $100. Be prepared to do an awful lot of tweaking when you install the software. And some of you may be disappointed to learn that you have to take an eye exam. All right, we reviewed action adventures, giant robot games, racing games, 3D glasses. We're going to stick with this theme and talk about the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, right after this.
1 second breakfast.
As a boy, an accident took his sight, but gave him superhuman senses.
Police suspect Daredevil was the one to bring the criminals to justice. I don't know why you read that trash.
Now, one hero.
I got work to do.
The Kingpin, he runs the whole town.
Get me bullseye.
Will do what no one else will dare. Daredevil.
I'll get some air.
Rated PG-13, February 14th.
Go!
My name is Dave Kramer, and I'm the world record holder for fastest completion of Parking Challenge number 5 in 18-wheeler. It took me months of daily playing to whittle my time down. On my days off, while my wife and son were sleeping, I poured 8+ hours of non-stop gameplay. Excellent job! For some reason, I picked up this game very quickly. I mean, I'm usually pretty good at driving and racing games, but there was something about this. I guess it was that it was just unique. My favorite movie is a no-brainer, Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan and have been ever since I saw Episode 4 back in '77. I basically play games because it's kind of an escape. The same reason a lot of people read books or watch movies. The way I explain it best to those who don't like games is this. You watch movies, right? What could possibly be better than watching a movie and getting to be the lead? You can control the outcome. And you can try things in games you never could get away with in real life because it might cause some harm.
Wow! Awesome record! You must be a pro! New record!
Ready, review.
Each week, I'll reveal a new top 10 list assembled by you, the viewer. We choose a different category and bring it to life with videos, images, and your comments.
Hot!
Don't forget, your vote counts.
Is that so?
Next.
Buried Treasures brought to you by EB Games.
Hey, here's a good one right here. Excitebike 64 for the N64. Now, I gotta say, one of the best games on the NES, and it is actually in the arcades as well, Excitebike. You remember this game? Unbelievable, right? Well, Excitebike 64, still to this date, it's probably one of my favorite motocross games of all time. Not only do they have an amazing track editor where you can go in, edit, and build your own track, but I tell you, the fun about this game is that it has all these great mini games as well. You can do tons and tons of tricks, of course. There's lots of different levels, but I like some of the other modes in the game, not just the racing around the stadium levels, but there's some really cool, fun outside levels where you go up in the desert, and you're trying to capture flags, and the AI on this is really amazing. The sound effects are incredible, too. You really feel the growling of the engine of the bike and everything. I gotta say, Excitebike 64 was one of those games where it's literally gets a 9 or a 10 on the scale, but didn't really get all of the hype that this game deserved. I tell you, one of the best parts of this game is the controls. From the second you put this cartridge in, it just feels right. Everything about it, with the N64 controller, the analog stick going. I gotta say that even today, still, this is the best controlling bike game I've ever played. Excitebike 64 from Nintendo for the N64.
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about a game that was both surprising and also my favorite game of this show. It's called Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, from Vivendi Universal for the Xbox.
The Dark Lord Sauron forged the One Ring to enslave all elves, dwarves, and men of Middle-earth.
You can play 3 of the 9 characters from the Fellowship. You got the Gandalf there, of course. You got the fighter guy, Aragorn. and of course, Frodo.
It sticks to the novel. I mean, this is what this game is all based on. All the characters that you read about through the novels, they're in the game.
One of the things I noticed, though, right away is that once you get in the Shire, which is right off the beginning,
right,
the colors in there seemed, on the Xbox, seemed a little bit washed out. I have this picture in my mind now from seeing the movie, and then once you get in there, the graphics are good. I'll tell you, the great thing, though, is the cinematics
are awesome.
And the
voice acting,
like I said, it really follows the books where...
Those ring wraiths will scare you silly,
Well,
man.
you can actually put the ring on and become invisible,
right?
You know, like in the real books.
But if you wear the ring too much, you'll be corrupted by the shadow world.
And the race will come and scare the living bejesus out of you.
Oh, Elbereth, Gilthoniel.
One of my favorite things to do, though, is playing as Frodo to terrorize the entire Shire. You get this stick, right?
Yeah.
So I like going around the Shire and like beating chickens with the stick, and then you can chase little hobbit children around and you try to whack them with the stick. But the problem is that they don't react. So they're kind of like invisible to the whacking, and that kind of bothered me. They should have an animation of the children getting beat by a stick.
I like this game very much. I was very impressed by the graphics. The water, the reflections and stuff off the water look beautiful, especially in the moonlight. I love the character designs. I like the interactive elements and sort of dialogue bits with all the characters.
A big bummer for me, though, was that the camera sometimes got stuck, and I just saw the top of his head for a lot. You know? So you do have to kind of be camera angle savvy when you play this game. But the cool thing is they do let you control and move the camera on the fly, which is
If you play any Nintendo action-adventure games, you're going to be right at home right there.
I tell you what I really loved was the music in this game.
Oh,
you really get a sense of Middle-earth with this music. It's very kind of fairy tale, medieval style stuff. Excellent job on the music.
Yeah, it's a great game overall. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. Wish there were a little more action.
On the positive side, we were very impressed by the presentation of this game. The storytelling, voiceovers, and music are all fantastic. Fans of the novels will be pleased to know that this game follows the books a lot more closely than even the films do. And I think the one thing that really blew us both away were the ring wraiths. They're so cool in this game.
On the negative side, I wish the camera movements and controls were a little smoother. There could have been a lot more action and fighting as opposed to puzzle solving and searching. And finally, I really would have liked to have seen better animations when you whacked little children with the stick.
You're such a sick freak.
What? It's true.
Today on Judgment Day, we took a look at Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. This game features incredible graphics and a great storyline, although it doesn't feel like any of the other Star Fox games from the past. On the PlayStation 2, we looked at Robot Alchemic Drive. Now, the story drove Tommy crazy, but we were both impressed by the size and scope of the giant robots in the game. On the Xbox, we looked at NASCAR Thunder 2003. This is a great NASCAR game that's going to satisfy every NASCAR fan out there. It's just too bad in the multiplayer game, you don't see the pit crews. Also on the Xbox, we took a look at the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings. Now, this game is based upon the Tolkien novels, so it's got a very rich narrative with great graphics and sound, although there's still invisible walls in this game. In hardware, we looked at the I-Ware 3D glasses for the PC. This is a very niche product, and it's a little bit pricey, but it could get very, very cool with future iterations. On the Game Boy Advance, I took a look at The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings. Now, this game also follows the story of the book, but it's so painfully slow, I'd avoid this at all costs.
Well, that's it for this show. We'll see you guys next time on Judgment Day. That was a pretty good show. There weren't too many shabby games in this one.
Shabby?
It's a word. People use the word shabby.
Not too many people.
Shabby's a swell word. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
The simulation is for the human character, not the robot.
Great.
The camera's following the human character.
I understand
that's where the
that,
game is.
And I'm telling you, that's bad
and
to do.
No,
okay?
it isn't. It's different. It's cool.
It could have been a great game.
It's
but
a
because
good
of this,
game.
It's horrible. And I want
horrible.
everyone out there to go out and rent it and tell you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's a good game. It's a unique game.
When's second breakfast?